Hi English literature learners, are you preparing for PG TRB English exam or other English literature examinations? Do you want to master English literature easily? Then this channel is for you. Today, let's learn 25 MCQs on the book of Job. PG TRB syllabus lab, first unit lab, English literature from 1400 to 1600, second section on a prose section lab, தேர்ட் டாப்பிக்காக த புக் ஆஃப் ஜாப் ஃப்ரம் த பைபிள் இருக்குது. அதில் 25 MCQs இப்போ பார்ப்போம். லெட்ஸ் டைவ் இன்டு டுடேஸ் டாபிக். In which land did Job reside at the beginning of the narrative? The land of Uz. The opening verse of the book explicitly identifies Uz as Job's homeland, a location often associated with Edomite territory. Which specific group of people is responsible for the theft of Job's oxen and female donkeys? The Sabaeans. The first messenger reports that the Sabaeans attacked the livestock and slew the servants with a sword. What was the specific physical affliction the adversary struck Job with in the second trial? Loathsome sores. The text states Job was struck with loathsome sores or boils from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. Next question is, how long did Job's three friends sit with him in silence before anyone spoke? 7 days and nights. Eliphaz, Bildad and Zophar sat in silence for 7 days and nights because they saw that his suffering was very great. In his opening lament in chapter 3, what does Job specifically curse? The day of his birth. Job opens the poetic section by cursing the day he was born and the night he was conceived, wishing they had remained dark. Next question is, Eliphaz the Temanite bases his first argument primarily on which of the following? A mystical vision. Eliphaz describes a secret word and a spirit passing before his face to justify his view on human frailty. Which friend is known for appealing to the wisdom of the former generations and ancestors? Bildad and Shuhite. Bildad's speeches consistently emphasize looking to the wisdom of the forefathers and the search of the ancestors. In chapter 19, Job famously declares, "For I know that my dash lives Redeemer." Job expresses a hope in a goal, Redeemer or Vindicator, who will eventually stand upon the earth. What is the primary subject of the poetic interlude found in chapter 28? The source of wisdom. This chapter is a famous hymn to wisdom, describing how humans can mine for gold but cannot find the path to wisdom. Next question is, Elihu the Buzite was angry with Job's three friends for what specific reason? They found no answer. Elihu's anger was kindled because they had condemned Job yet found no way to refute his arguments. Next question is, from what manifestation does God finally answer Job in chapter 38? A whirlwind. The text explicitly states that the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind. Next question is, in God's first speech, which creature is described as having limbs like bars of iron? Behemoth. Behemoth is described with the bones like tubes of bronze and limbs like bars of iron in chapter 40. Next question is, how many daughters were born to Job after his restoration? 3. In the epilogue, Job is blessed with 7 sons and 3 daughters, matching the number he had originally. Which of the following is not one of the names of Job's daughters born after his trials? Dinah. Dinah is the daughter of Jacob. Job's daughters were Jermima, Kelia, and Kiran Kafouch. Next question is, what did God command Eliphaz and his 2 friends to do at the end of the book? Offer a burnt offering. God instructed them to take 7 bulls and 7 rams and offer a burnt offering for themselves. Next question is, how many years did Job live after his restoration and trials? 140 years. The text concludes by stating Job lived 140 years after these events, seeing 4 generations of his descendants. Next question is, in the prologue, what is the adversary's primary argument against Job's righteousness? He is only pious for profit. Satan asks, does Job fear God for nothing? Suggesting his devotion is based solely on God's protection and blessings. Next question is, which creature is described by God as king over all the sons of pride? Leviathan. In the climax of the description of Leviathan, God says he beholds everything high and is king over the sons of pride. What is Sophos' main contention regarding Job's punishment in chapter 11? He deserves worse punishment. Sophos tells Job that God exacts less of him than his iniquity deserves. Next question is, Job's desire for a day's man or arbiter reveals what about his view of God? God is too transcendent. Job laments that there is no mediator between him and God because God is not a man like he is. Next question is, which group attacked the camels and slew the servants in the 3rd messenger's report? The Chaldeans. The text states the Chaldeans formed 3 bands and made a raid upon the camels. Next question is, in the final chapter, why does God say he is angry with Eliphaz and his 2 friends? They spoke untruths of God. God declares, you have not spoken of me what is right as my servant Job has. Next question is, what does Job do immediately after hearing of the loss of his children and property? He worshipped. Job arose, tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell on the ground and worshipped. Next question is, which character is described as being from the tribe of region of Bus? Elihu. Elihu is introduced as the son of Parachel and Uzite of the family of Ram. Next question is, what is the very last thing the book of Job records about Job's life? He died old and full of days. The book ends with a simple statement, and Job died an old man and full of days. With this, 25 questions are over. These questions have been given only for revision. If you have any doubts regarding English literature, feel free to ask in the comment section. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned to this channel to expand your knowledge of English literature.